I'd like to ask you, Katie Kim, what is the biggest risk?
The biggest risk is it all not working out, right? And not going to plan pretty much. Um, when we step into a development, I want to answer it in two parts. I want to answer an insurance side of risk because I think insurance is a great way to do risk, and it's definitely part of our risk mitigation plan. But when we step into putting together the development structure, it's more than what are you offering your investors, right? It's who's on the team in the development, and what are they seeing as a risk, and putting all those feedbacks and comments into that risk mitigation plan for the development itself, and communicating that to our investors and our bank and all of our team. And then also contingency on the financial side for sure. But how do you make sure you have plan A, B, C, D, really EF all the way to Z for each item in the plan and the process? So, a couple of the projects we started, I mentioned Keller Station as one of our developments. We were in the middle of construction when COVID hit. So now you got to look at, okay, you want businesses to come into a place where they can't open, they can't get, going, they can't launch. And some of them are retail, some of them are, customer facing, some of them are restaurants and coffee shops. And, looking at that plan and how do you shift and pivot? And that's where I really go back to network, and who do you have in your network? How are you building your network? Because they're your biggest resource, they're your biggest cheerleaders. They're gonna really, think outside the box, bring their expertise in their lane to really help the risk mitigation. We were the success story at Keller Station was, our coffee shop there, CXT Coffee, they have grown 3x, since COVID. They pivoted. They actually did some really cool marketing during COVID. They did a curbside pickup because they didn't have a drive-through. We had a couple retail businesses. Hello Headband, who does headbands and scrub apps. They have the softest fabric. They actually moved into their first retail location from their home in March 2020. So you think like right during the COVID shutdown. And they were actually so busy online, they would sell out within like 3 minutes, sometimes 30 seconds. And they couldn't even open their store because they couldn't keep inventory in. They were just, so it's how do you leverage your team to really enhance whatever the goal is, if it's growth, if it's risk mitigation, if it's, avoiding that issue, leveraging that. And one way we do it specifically with insurance is we have our insurance agents look at our contracts, look at our policies, where are we, at risk, right? And some of the policies, when people put together investment deals, as you know, is you want to make sure you have a policy to protect your investors, protect your officers, as well as the building. Like it goes past just that physical structure. And sitting down with someone, like yourself, where you can say, okay, hey guys, I want to show you where you're exposed, right? Here are some things, here's some ways we can cut your premium without cutting a coverage. And that is where I see a lot of people, such as yourself, coming as a strategic partner to the team versus, hey, I'm just selling this product, I'm just selling this policy, right? You're coming from contribution, with everything you're doing with the podcast and educating your audience. You're educating them to be, again, to walk with you and then run with you. So where they come back and say, hey, how can we get our monthly payment down but not give exposure, right? Not give into more risk. And I think if people start to ask questions, right, and come from curiosity, bring their team as truly strategic partners in their plans, then it really changed the game. And that's where I would encourage people to go, especially when they're looking at risk and risk mitigation, is you're paying these people for their service, yes, but are you leaving money on the table by not leveraging their mind and their strategy and their strategic capability in your deals and into your network? And that is where I think a lot of people do leave a lot of money on the table.